This program contains subject matter and language that may be disturbing to some viewers.
What the fuck? That shit sending chills through my body, man. I can tell already, these three niggas right here, they know their instruments.
Viewer discretion is advised.
SHMACKEMAGOB.
SHMACKEMAGOB, it's time for the only news that matters. And a special thanks to Sam Sorvino for that SHMACKEMAGOB intro. Thank you so much, brother. And as I always say every week, if you want to be in the intro, send it to this email right here. And I'll put it up in the order I receive them. And I want to give a shout out to Mr. Isbell. You know who you are. Thank you so much for the killer donation, my friend. You rule. And I also want to give another shout out to my friend Wilson. You rule, my friend. All right, now let's get into the only news that matters. And I hate to start the news on a sad note. Former Montrose singer Bob James died from stomach ulcer complications. I really dug this guy's voice. I own that Warner Brothers Presents Montrose. And I think that album's very underrated. You all should check it out if you haven't. And I really like this dude's voice, and it's very sad to hear that he passed away. So, rest in peace, Bob James. And I hope you're jamming with Ronnie right now. All right, next story, and this one really got to me. Late Ozzy Osbourne and Uriah Heep drummer Lee Kerslake's debut solo album, 11teen, receives posthumous release. And before he passed away, Lee made a music video for the track called Celia Sienna, and I watched it, and wow, man. It was heart-wrenching watching it. I mean, he's got a great voice. I love his voice. I never heard him sing before, and it was beautiful. And the song is beautiful. The lyrics is beautiful. He kind of encapsulates life and past love, and it really hit the heartstrings watching it. And it's video of him recording it, and also video of him walking around with his friends and having flashbacks when he was a little kid. And oh man, at the very end, there's this scene where there's a group hug, where he hugs his group of friends. Mick Box is there, and yeah, man, it was hard holding back them tears during that part. He was aware that his life was coming to an end, and he really did put it down on those lyrics really well. I guess you get a different perspective of life when you know it's almost over. Rest in peace, Lee. What a great, great song. All right, next story. Tommy Thayer says Kiss's New Year's Eve concert was by far the biggest stage ever. Well, I don't care how big that stage is. It'll never top this, according to me and science. That's a cute scab Les Paul, you scab. All right, next story. Armored Saint will be releasing a live DVD of them playing Symbol of Salvation in its entirety. John Bush was recently on Shockwave Skull Sessions with the great Bob Nalbamian, and he talked about Joey's working on the DVD, and it should be out in the fall. I'm very excited because I'm a huge Armored Saint fan, and I'm also excited that they also have a documentary that'll be coming out that you can see the promo for it here on YouTube. And as an Armored Saint fan, this is a great time to be an Armored Saint fan, because their last album is phenomenal. Punch in the Sky rules. And then we have all this extra stuff coming out very soon. So, right on. March of the Saint. All right, next story. Will Motley Crue Stadium Tour happen this year? Nikki Sixx responds. Asked by a fan on Twitter on Friday if there's ever been any updates of whether the stadium tour will go ahead this summer, Nikki replies, "Our concern is the safety of not only the bands and the crew, but also the fans."
A what?
I don't know who piles up more bullshit, Nikki Sixx or Paul Stanley of Kiff. Give me a break. Do you feel bad about the fans that wasted thousands of dollars following you around on your quote-unquote end of the road, whatever the fuck you call it? No, that's Kiss. That's Kiss's bullshit. What was theirs called? The End, I think. You know, people traveled. I know I've seen people complain, man, that they wasted thousands of dollars to see that final show in LA, and others just tracked around, following you around, wasting all this money because they really thought it was the final tour because you made up some bullshit contract that you would promise Motley Crue would never hit the road again. Come on, give me a break. You care about your fans. You care about your fans as much as I care about Van Hagar. Next story. In a new interview with Guitar World, Swedish shred guitar god Yngwie Malmsteen recalls hearing Van Halen's self-titled debut album for the first time in 1978. He said, in 1978, I was playing in a band called Powerhouse. And one day the drummer came in and he brought Van Halen. And I was like, what is this? What, another band? Whatever. But he put it on. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was so fucking blown away. What really knocked me out was the energy and the I don't give a fuck attitude that the whole band had. So you gotta remember, I lived in a socialist country and it was basically, you can't do that and you can't do this. Everything was very no, no, no. And when Van Halen came out, it was just like, fuck you all. I fucking love it. I still love it to this day. Right on, Yngwie J. Malmsteen. And he is correct. Van Halen didn't give a fuck. Original Van Halen. The best American band ever, according to me. And Eddie Van Halen has always been my favorite guitar player. Rest in peace, King. Edward rules. Alright, next story. Alice Cooper comments on Marilyn Manson's abuse allegations. Alice said, it's funny about Marilyn in that I know Marilyn. When we toured together, we got along very well. I never noticed that streak in him, if there is. I've always believed in the word, still allegations are still allegations. Right on, Alice. I said the same thing a few weeks ago on the news. Hey man, I'm no Marilyn Manson fan. I'm not here to defend him, but I'm all for, hey man, don't cancel somebody just because somebody accused somebody without any solid proof. I'm all for canceling potato heads, not the toy, but the potato heads that stand behind this bullshit.
Try the veal, it's the best in the city.
And Alice Cooper released an album last week called Detroit Stories, and I heard it last night, and I really dug it. I haven't really liked a lot of Alice albums lately, but I think this is the best thing he's done since Dirty Diamonds. So if you're a fan of Alice, I highly recommend you check out Detroit Stories. Never forget the Coop. Alright, final story. Paul Stanley of Kiff gave an interview to the San Diego Union Tribune about Soul Station, and this is what he had to say. He said, well, they say God is in the details. Quite frankly, I've heard people try to record or try to recreate some of those songs, and they miss the mark because it becomes scientific and too cerebral instead of emotional. Well, Paul posted that little interview on his Twitter, and of course, he got a comment from, you guessed it, Thinking Stanley of Stool Station, who wrote, so you're bashing other artists who have recorded Motown covers while patting yourself on the back. I guess auto-tune captures the passion. Wow. If you saw the news last week, I already talked about Synching Stanley, and Synching Stanley really pisses off Paul to the point where he wanted to dox him. But I love it. You know, here's Paul again bashing other people like he did in the past all the time. Never brings up the fact that, you know, he's mortal. I mean, read his book. His book should be retitled My Shit Don't Stink. He bashes everybody over their talent, and here he is again, saying he's heard people try to record and recreate some of those songs, and they missed the mark. I hail thee, Synching Stanley, for being that thorn in the side, pissing Paul Stanley off every time he says something hypocritical or bashing other people. It's just glorious. Now, if only somebody out there would make a Twitter account under the name of Sammy McHagar and call him out on his bullshit. Well, that's it for the news, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to donate, I got a PayPal below. And please subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Stay frosty and SHMACKEMAGOB. The news this week was brought to you by the love I have for Point of Entry, the Judas Priest Classic, which just turned 40 years old last week. I love this album. I know many don't, but I'm not you. I love it. Thank you for watching.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain.